Hey, my name's Anthony.
My name's Alex.
And we are
The PTA Podcast.
Everybody for tuning in for another episode on the PTA Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to us on YouTube and Spotify. Today's a special one. We have a guest. We have a good friend of ours, Justin Makhalouf. Welcome to the podcast, my man. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
No worries, my man. So look, tell us a little bit about yourself. For those people that know, that are part of the fitness industry, you've been in the industry for quite some time. You've done some cool things with your career. Tell us a little bit about where you started, why you started in the industry, and then we'll just go from there.
I started off as a passion. I was a sick, overweight boy. I had high blood pressure at the age of like 10 to 12, and I was in and out of hospital because of it. And then one day I kind of just had enough, and I had a older cousin of mine who was like really into the kind of fitness and the bodybuilding and all that stuff. And I asked him one day for some help, and he just he said, if you do this and you lose weight, I will like help you along. So I was very blessed, and if he ever listens to this, my cousin Pierre, he actually put me onto the journey, and I trained with him. He was 10 years older than me, and he took me under his wing, and we trained for a while, and then I just kind of got obsessed with it. And then by the time I was about 17, 18, I became a PT, and I opened a boot camp. I was quite young. We had a bit of a boot camp in the Parramatta area, me and a friend of mine. And then I actually, my family went through a bit of a financial struggle, and my dad was like, you got to make a bit more money than what you're doing now, doing this. So I ended up getting into service stations with some service stations as well for a while, and then kept learning because I loved the health and fitness in general, just the whole industry, and it was a hobby of mine, a passion of mine, and I just kept learning, and eventually when I had the chance and opportunity, in about 2016, I decided to open a gym. So I opened another gym in 2016 in Padstow, CrossFit 129, and that's it. We kept going, and just recently we closed down, unfortunately, because of some council and landlord issues, and here we are.
Yeah, look, with your CrossFit gym, it was quite popular. And being in the industry for so long, we end up having, by default, just some mutual friends, you and I.
Yeah.
So, and they would tell me a lot about your gym and what you're doing. And this guy, look at this guy, Justin Makhalouf, look at his gym, look what he's doing.
Yeah.
And so I was just following you for a while. I was following your gym page. I was following you. But more recently, you've started to kind of transition into not so much the CrossFit style of training anymore, but you're doing a lot more of your marathon running.
Yes.
And for somebody that went from the CrossFit style of training, the bodybuilding style of training, strength training, as you mentioned, and then going into marathon running.
Yeah.
How was that transition for you? Because that's going from literally one extreme to the next. And off air, we were talking, but tell our listeners about kind of what got you into that transition of doing the running, what kind of started it for you, but what you essentially went through to get your body primed and ready for that as well.
So if I can give you a bit of a backstory, so it was CrossFit 129 originally, and CrossFit brought on a new obsession to training for me at the time. But I would call myself like a bit of an outlier and not completely on the bandwagon of like the whole CrossFit bug.
Okay.
But I was still obsessed, and my wife was very competitive, and I became her coach, and it just got me kind of obsessed with it. And then I actually have transitioned from a lot of different training modalities over the years. So anyone that knows me, whether it's my athletes or my clients or anyone that knows me, like I'm always changing. And there was a time when I was obsessed for like 3 years in movement training and gymnastics and handstands and animal walks and all that kind of stuff, and then strength training. So I'm always kind of transitioning to different things. And then the running just recently, I will say, like, even though we get into the call it marathons, I wouldn't say like I'm necessarily a runner just yet, but the gym closed, and it was very easy for me to put my shoes on and get out the door. I was a bit bitter with the gym closing, and it was easy for me to put my shoes on, get out the door, and I just felt like just taking things simple and suffering a little bit, and I just wanted to like my wife's got a saying, she just always tells me, like, forget about the science for a little bit, just go out there and do it. Like your mind works too much. So anyway, I just wanted to get out and run and commit to it. So I just started running every single day. And then before I knew it, I was doing like 120, 130 kilometers a week. And then we booked the race, and then it just kind of happened. And in the last year, I ran a sub 3 hour marathon last week, actually. And then we've done a 100 kilometer race In February, we did a backyard ultra. We ran 37 hours, 248 kilometers, I think it was. And then now we've got another more backyard ultra in 10 weeks. So hopefully we can go.
So you're going to do it to yourself again.
Yeah, we're going to go out there and suffer one more time.
So
and
just for our listeners, a backyard ultra, just explain to them what a backyard ultra is.
Backyard ultra is, there's a 6.7K loop, and you have to complete that 6.7K loop in the hour. And if you finish it in 50 minutes, you have like a 10-minute transition or rest, and then you have to go again and be at the start line by the time the next hour goes. And you just keep going until there's a last man standing. So they're called a last man standing backyard ultra. So you just keep going till you quit. So yeah, the last time I did it, I did 37 hours and I finished in the top 15.
Top 15?
Yeah, which is...
So number one was how many hours? How many kilometers, sorry?
I think they did... I think it was, I can't remember if it was in the late 60s or early 70 hours. So I think it was close to about 500 kilometers. Yeah.
Wow.
So hopefully God gives me the strength to do that myself this time.
What's your goal now, like for this next one?
I mean, it's a big thing to say, but I want to see if I can win. I want to see.
I love it. Your brother was not wrong about you when he said, when you obsess, you obsess.
Yeah, I can't help myself. Look, even if it doesn't happen, like I enjoy.
It's a good challenge though.
I enjoy
the mindset.
I enjoy the mindset part of it. I enjoy like telling myself I'm gonna win, and I enjoy like the training and all that. So it doesn't matter what I choose. Like I said, when I was obsessed with CrossFit, like I thought I was gonna go to the CrossFit Games. When I was obsessed with movement, it's like that's it. And I just knuckled down. And I think a lot of people should. I'm not saying I have the best mentality, but I think a lot of people should take that mindset towards anything they do. Like if you have a goal to losing weight, well, you should go in like all in.
All in,
you know what
exactly
I mean?
right. Yeah.
Because at least you can learn. You can't really learn and understand and go through it all and take something from it that you can use in other areas in your life, unless you go all in. If you kind of just dabble in it and you just push it to the side and it's kind of like a side gig, you're not going to really learn anything from it. So as a coach, for me, dabbling into a lot of things was a lot of times so endurance in general, like for me was a way for me to learn to try to help the athletes that I was working with, because I work with a lot of combat athletes or CrossFitters. And so it doesn't matter whether it's strength training. And then you learn, like, unless you go out there yourself, and you know that as a coach, unless you go out there and you kind of train properly, learn and go 100%, you're not going to really be able to pass on that knowledge to other people. So
it's true. Experience.
So yeah, I told myself at the time, and if anyone that knows me, like if I pick a goal, you'll see that everything I listen to is about that. Everything I watch is about that. Like I just get completely engulfed in it until I'm like, okay, that's enough. Time to move on. So,
okay.
Yeah, hopefully we can win, man.
Look, I'll be watching, as you
Thanks,
know. I'll
mate.
definitely watch your
Thank you.
stories and your stuff on your socials. I definitely enjoy your socials. One of the things I was going to ask you, but before I do, I wanted to kind of highlight one of the things you just said. When you do something, you go all in, right? Yes. And you can use that mentality with weight loss, for example, going all in, but you can use it in other areas of your life. I absolutely love that. One of my mentors, who I studied from for many years, and whenever he comes here from Canada, I always get him to come to my gym. He said, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And I absolutely love that, because when he first said that to me, he was talking about training. Yeah. But then he also said, think about everything else in your life that you do, that you don't do as well as you know you could. And now think about how you do your training.
Yeah.
He goes, I guarantee you there's people that aren't reaching their full potential in training, aren't reaching their full potential in other areas of their life. And it's that same mentality. So for me, whenever I'm doing my workout and I'm in that suffering part of my workout, half my brain's like, you don't have to worry. Just leave it. Don't worry. Just don't worry about the last set. It's okay. Then the other half of me is like, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And that's one of the things that I try my hardest to live by. Yeah. As a parent myself, I don't want my son to see me taking a shortcut or the easy way out. On that, the question I have for you, when you do your running,
yes,
and you're in that suffering state,
yes,
you're at 90, 80, 90, 100 kilometers in, your feet are sore, your lungs are burning, is half your brain telling you, slow down, but the other half is telling you...
Not to quit. For sure, man. Yeah? I think it's more like 80-90% of your brain and body are telling you to quit. Like it's like, yeah. Look, I don't care what anyone tells you, unless I'm like in that sport of running in backyard ultras, and even the best guys. Like once you get 40, 50 k's in, 100 k's in, like everything's telling you to stop. Your body's in like it's in all sorts, and it's never been there. And your mind is telling you to stop because it just wants you to not do it. Why are you suffering like this? You know what I mean? Your body's, you're not meant to go through that. So yeah, definitely. And that's why I think the running at this time of my life just really resonated with me, and was more like, it's such a simple skill like that we can all do, that it's easy to suffer and to train your mind to make those decisions that you want to make at that time. So like, for me to say don't quit and to keep pushing, a skill like running is very simple, so I can do that. You know, sometimes like we spoke about downstairs, when something is very skillful, you can have a million reasons why you shouldn't do that thing anymore. So like even in things like strength training, or especially something like we mentioned, weightlifting, like if you're not fully recovered and you've got high numbers that day and you can't hit them, you just don't do them. With running, you got no excuse, especially if it's an easy run. Like, it's like, you know, if like running, bad luck, you know what I mean? Like, it's just how it is. So like the marathon block I just went through then, it's had a bit more speed in it. So if it was a speed day and I wasn't feeling up to it, I might have to make the call like, okay, today's not the day, you know what I mean? But when I come for these backyard, and why I'm actually getting obsessed with it and why I signed up again is because I don't really feel like doing the speed stuff. I want to get to that point where I'm making those decisions with myself and being like, do I want to go out again today, and feeling like I don't want to, and then doing it. And that's the thing I'm chasing right now. And I think a lot of people, it's not for everybody, and I'm not trying to say that everybody should do it, but I think the longer you are, for someone like me who's been in the industry and has been obsessed with things a lot over the years in this industry, I think everybody, doesn't matter what level you're at, those decisions come to you all the time. So it could be as simple as you just trying to lose weight, and you have the temptation of eating that biscuit or whatever it is, and you know you shouldn't, and you just need to make the decision not to do it. And it's a skill to train yourself to be able to make those decisions and do what you think's best for you, regardless of how you feel. So that's where this obsession of running has come from. And I made a bit of a joke when I first started, and I said, like, I'm just going to keep doing it until something comes of it. Like, and it could be like nothing really comes of it, but I mean, I'm just going to keep doing it for now until, it's my obsession right now. So I'll just keep doing it.
I love it. And what's it like? I think this is an obvious answer to this question, but when you're in those moments where you're running and you're in pain and you're looping past kind of that finish line to start again, or that next lap, and you see your wife and your kids, tell me what goes through your mind at that moment. Because on the videos, I can feel it in the videos.
There's a couple of things. I mean, they do. One thing is you have the thought, like, we go back. You have the thought of like, there's comfort right there. Like, you can kind of get out if you want to, right? That's one thing. But another thing is that they just bring you back to reality. They bring you joy. And for me, my son is a big drive for me. Like, I think if you see my page, you see like I'm quite obsessed with my son. I mean, everyone's obsessed with their kids, but I don't know. He just has this thing where I just feel like he's just watching everything I'm doing, and everything I do is he's like kind of taken off me. You know what I mean? So definitely, like, whether it's true or not, I make myself believe that it's 100% for them, and everything that I do, and every extra loop that I'll do in the race will be for them. Like, you know what I mean?
It's true. I think one of the things why I believe it's for them is it's not so much the running. It's the lessons around 100%. Going through hard stuff, and seeing it through, putting your best effort in, irrespective of the result. You know, because they're their life lessons. You know, they're not necessarily. You're not always going to win in life, right? And funny, I just said that. It reminded me of something that you said to your son, and you put it on your page. And I love that, because I had the same experience with my son. My son's only 2. But he got upset about something that didn't go his way. And I actually had to sit him down and calm him down. And as I was talking to him, I could see my wife watching me. You know what mothers are like. They want to take their kid. They want to cuddle them. And our job is to remind them that life's not going to be easy and these things are going to happen, even though he's 2 years old. So I was saying to him, Dad, it's okay. Sometimes things aren't going to go your way, but it's okay. Get up. I think he was playing with the ball and he fell over the ball or something. But I said, Dad, get up. Come on, brush your legs off. Let's go. Round 2. And he was like in this moment of just absolute agony. Like, he fell over. He wanted mum to come cuddle him. I said to my wife, stay there. He needs to learn to get up. So now he falls over, he gets up, he looks at me and goes, Dad, look. And he just busts himself off. And I love that, because even at 2 years old, he's learning, right? What's it like for you with your son, who's a bit older than mine, but trying to keep up with what you're doing and learning from you? Where do you kind of, let him do his thing, but then you kind of pull him back and use something as a teachable kind of learning experience for him?
Yeah, well, I mean, for both my wife and I think for everybody, it's like sometimes people can look at like us as coaches and be like, oh, you are the fitness guys, or you are the those guys in that industry, so that's just for you. But it's not that. It's that, like you mentioned, this is just a vehicle. Like that, you can pick a goal, and the health and fitness in like this whole industry is, it's just a vehicle for you. One, it's for your health, and two, it's a vehicle for you to learn life lessons. I mean, you could find someone who wants to play violin, like a skill. Any skill is going to require ups and downs, and you're gonna suck at it when you first start, and that beginner's mindset, you know, which is something I learned in the movement practice a lot, was like having that beginner mindset. And the beginner mindset is like, no matter what you do for the first time, you're not going to be good at it, and you're going to have to go through that tough period in the beginning, and then you're going to get better at it, and every time you get better at it, you're going to get to that new level, and then it's going to be like another period of you sucking at it kind of thing, and then it's going to keep happening, and so for me, just my son seeing me go through that myself, and then trying to get like explain to him when he goes through it, and he's already done it so many times, like teaching him how to do the monkey bars or like whatever it is, you know, like catch the ball or whatever. And it's like in the beginning, he's not going to be good at it. He's not going to be able to do it. And we just try to explain to him that that's just how it is. And if you just keep doing it, you'll get better at it. And I think there's an element of all of us humans, like a physicality, especially boys, you know, I mean, and women too. Like my wife, like I said, is a competitive CrossFitter, and she's probably as active or more active than me, you know, so everyone there's an element of us that want to be physical and get outdoors and get sweaty and all that, and there's an element of fun, and so it's a great way for a lot of people to learn those life lessons, you know. So yeah, definitely. So we just try to put him in positions where it's like just outside of his comfort zone, but we know that he can do it, you know.
That makes me really happy to hear, because
yeah,
I'm excited to see, and I know this must sound weird coming from somebody that you don't know very well, but I'm excited to see in the next 10, 15 years, what your son does from the example that you've set.
Yeah.
You know, that to me is cool, because that's the dream for me. Not so much for my son to carry on my legacy, but for my son to just push himself
for sure,
to see what he can do, just like he saw his dad doing.
Yeah.
That's all. That's what I want.
100%.
Because then I know that God will take care of the rest for him, as long as he pushes himself.
For sure, yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
And so one of the other questions I have for you is, in your time as a coach, having your own facilities, doing your boot camps, some of the success stories, are there any that kind of really stand out to you for some of the stuff that you've done for your clients?
Oh man, there's been a lot. I don't even know where to start. Like I think I mentioned to you downstairs, I've worked with like thousands of people now, to be honest, thousands of people, and from all walks of life, from young teens, young kids, even up until like 7-year-olds. And look, there's been people that I mentioned to you that I've worked with that had life-threatening issues, that have turned things around. Like even my mum was told that we were going to lose my mum, and she's turned her life. I mean, probably, you know what I say that? Probably my mum is the biggest success story. My mum was, she got diagnosed. I mean, we're not going to go on to the whole COVID jab thing, but she was already a sick person, a bit sick. She had like normal health issues that a lot of people have at that age, and she had the jab, and then she got like all these blood clots, and she slowly was losing oxygen, and then it got to a point where she actually collapsed at the gym at 129. She collapsed in front of all my members, and I had to perform CPR on her. She had no oxygen. I had to perform CPR on her, and thank God she came back, and then they took her in the ambulance, and then they told us just to go home and kind of live out her life and enjoy the last moments with her, and then I was blessed, and I think my mentor, still to this day, he's still my mentor, is Coach Cal from the training lab in America, and I was with him for about 5 years at the time, and I actually think I met him just for this moment anyway, but he told me to go overseas, and he has got a facility over there, like a recovery facility, and they've got like hyperbaric chamber. They do a lot of holistic kind of and yeah, so I packed my bags with my mum, and we went over there, and cut the story short, we went over there, and she committed 100% to her health, and she turned her life around. I mean, all the clots disappeared. At the time, she had like high blood pressure, cholesterol, like everything you think of, arthritis. She had blood clots. She had inflammation around her heart. Like she had the works, you know, and she turned her life around, and she came back here. She got the scans done, and she all the clots were gone, and it was, I mean, besides the recovery machines that we use, the red light therapy bed, the hyperbaric oxygen chamber, and molecular hydrogen therapy. Besides those three, call them big ones. The main thing is just the nutrition, the activity, seeing the sun, nutrition. Like, I mean, the most simplest things, but just doing it 100%, because the scared her enough. She was over there. She wasn't in the comfort zone. We were living in an apartment, like kind of there, and she did it. And to see that shift, like that change, like she was unable to walk in the airport for more than 20 minutes without having to sit down. To see that change, like she's probably the biggest success story that for me. And she changed my whole perception of our responsibility as people in general, and like how effective it can be to look after your health. And when someone is sick in your house, how it can really like affect everybody around you, and the impact that you can have with your family, the community, and the generations to come. So like that's probably been the biggest one for me. Other than that, I mean, I've worked with a lot of people who have, like, I mean, lost weight, turned their life around, and people that have fulfilled their dreams in competitive sports. And but for sure, I think my mum was the biggest one. Yeah.
Wow, that's a powerful story, man.
Man, it was definitely an experience. And like we already know like how powerful nutrition and living a healthy lifestyle. We already know like how powerful that is.
Yeah.
But I think most people, especially in Sydney and the community that we live in, they don't really understand how powerful it is. And even me myself, I didn't really
Yeah, the problem is our industry I believe has failed the population in a lot of ways. Well, number one is using food as only about calories.
Yes.
That's what really annoys me.
Yes.
Calories play a role. I get it. Yes. Thermodynamics, you can't deny that there's a law you must follow.
Yes.
But if anybody ever does stumble across a guy called Dr. William Wallace, go read his book. I can't remember the exact name of the book, but it's all talks about how nutrition affects your brain.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And I'm telling you, if you read this book, it'll blow your mind about what the simple foods that we eat every day and how they can impact our brain chemistry, but also how it can impact our brain health, our performance, our anxiety, our depression, our stress, like all these things that we think are clinical and can't be fixed other than medication. How simple things that we think are just household problems now are all part of what we term as nutrient deficiencies.
Yes, for sure.
Right? And so when I look at that kind of stuff, I think to myself, and I'm very much like you, there is a power to nutrition. Right? In the book of Psalms, I always talk about this. In the book of Psalms, it speaks about the fact that God gave, and I'm paraphrasing, God gave man herbs for man to do what he needs to heal his body. I'm paraphrasing very badly here. But we have everything we need right here. And it's powerful. Right? And I truly believe that people like you and I are in a position to have good impact, right?
Oh, for sure.
And by simply just educating. Yeah. That's why I started my podcast. That's why I love my podcast, right? If it wasn't you sitting here, it'd be my brother with me, right? We do our podcast every fortnight.
Yeah.
And so we use this platform to educate, to help, to support, to guide, to motivate, to give people a different perspective and deeper conversations around these powerful stories, right? Because now that you've said that your mum was here, she's the polar opposite.
Yeah.
But the main driver, the machines, but the main driver was the simple stuff.
Oh, it's
right?
For sure. For the biggest, it was like get outside, see the sun, go for a walk, nutrition. Yeah. I mean, we did do, like I said, like it was a holistic place, so we did do like tests for her hair, like hair tissue mineral analysis. We did HCMA to get said deficiencies. We did blood work and all that kind of stuff. But the general, like if you took the general from it, and I think it's the thing with most people here. Like before you even get into all that, into like the specifics and trying to fix everything at the smallest detail, is I think most people can fix 90% of their problems by doing the simple things.
Yeah.
And I think that when you mentioned the thing with calories. Yes, like you said, 100% calories are very important. So like there's a restriction. You don't want to overeat anything, right? And you don't want to overeat calories. Doesn't matter if you eat healthy foods and you overeat and you put on weight, it's not good for you, right? But at the same time, it's like nutrition itself and the concept of balance. That's what the calories in, calories out. I think even though it's correct, I think it's brainwashed the people, not understanding the balance between how much good food or how important good food is for you. So within the calories in, calories out concept and having calories, if you were to have true balance throughout your week, true balance, in my opinion, is still 80-90% whole foods.
Yeah, that's exactly what we teach.
You still need to be doing that. Doesn't mean you can't have any of those treat foods. I think they're quite like, for people socially, like food is a very social thing, and social connections are very important.
Our culture, we're both Lebanese. Our culture, food,
massive.
everything.
I love food. You know what I mean? But you must.
My mum cooks food, spends all day cooking food, and I say, "Ma, I can't have it. It's not going to work in my macros for today." The cuff that I'll cop, even at 34 years old.
It's just so funny saying that. I was actually telling my dad that today. We're having a conversation about that, and I was like, when I first started and I got obsessed with losing weight when I was younger, it was like I wouldn't touch my mum's food anymore. It was like broccoli and chicken, like tuna and crackers. But as you get older, that's how I did it. You know what I mean? But as you get older and you learn, and then the Mediterranean diet in general, if
it's very, very, very good.
It's very good for you, right? So if you were to take out the over frying of foods that we do and the sweets and you had true balance, which again I said for me, I think true balance is still going 80-90% whole foods, make sure there's some kind of restriction and self-restraint, so keeping the calories at the right level and having the 80. I think you can fix 90% of the problems while still enjoying yourselves. Like, they are treat foods, these processed foods should be there for treats. Like, all of us have, again, in our culture, like sweets is massive. Like my mum, I grew up, my mum made everything, you know what I mean? And we looked forward to every barbecue would finish with knefe and foods that were and I think even for my son, people assume, and even with me, the most common question I get is nah, really, do you have a cheat? Do you eat bad food? Do you ever eat bad food? I'm like, yeah, I do. Once a week, I treat myself at least once a week. I'll go the whole week and once a week. And a lot of times, the important thing about understanding calories is that if you say you're going to have it once a week, let's go on this topic. If you say you're going to have it once a week and you go and you just have whatever you want and you're only meant to be having, say, 2,000 calories a day or whatever, you could you can quickly shift
1 meal,
if you were to look at my numbers, right? Which is you can quickly shift from 80% to down to 40% of it being rubbish because of the calories you had in that 1 meal.
Yeah.
So having an understanding of calories can help you have the balance required for you to be able to still get the results you're looking for, to live a healthy life, to live longer while still enjoying yourself and treating yourself. So I think now it's just we treat ourselves too much.
Yes.
Not just with food, but everything.
Say how it is, we're too soft, mate. This society's become too soft.
There's just too much. The people just treat themselves too much. I think the way the world works today and the way that how hard people work and the lives they live, they're just they're trying to find an escape, and a food is very food is very pleasurable, and
alcohol.
And drugs and gambling, and there's a lot of it, and there's porn, and there's where do we start?
Yeah, it goes on.
So,
yeah, man. Yeah.
And food's a big one, and people they find it hard to have that balance. But I think if they just we mentioned before, if they train the skill and they even my parents, my dad again, mentioned my dad again, he said to me just 2 days ago, once you actually feel what it feels like to follow that and to feel good, to have the energy that you're looking for and to be in a good mood 90% of the time and to go through all of that, it's very hard to go back.
You never want to go back because you're like, why would I want to go back to feeling like
100%. So let's go back to that concept of the beginner's mindset. It's most people can't get through that beginner part where it sucks and it's hard and I'm trying to break the habit, I'm trying to get through, because if you can just get through that beginning part, it does get much easier, and then it's very hard to go back. So
I always tell people as well, some of our new clients have just started with us. I had a guy start this week and he was like, it's Tuesday? And he's like, man, it's so hard. I'm like, brother, you've only done your second day.
Yeah.
I go, what are you expecting? And he's like, I know what I want to achieve. I said, you'll get there.
Yeah.
I said, but don't focus on week 12, for example.
Yeah.
Just focus on what you got to do today. And if you make sure what you do today is actually the right thing, the majority of the time, what you get to in week 12, you'll be very happy with. Sure. Week 12 is going to come.
Yeah.
But how are you going to be in week 12 is determined on what you do right now.
Yeah.
Right? And when I said that to him, he said, I said, just take it easy on yourself. Don't expect yourself to be perfect.
Yeah.
And we have a very big saying, consistency trumps intensity all the time.
For sure.
So very much aligned with what you said, 90% whole food diet, working in T calories. We're very much the same, right?
Yeah.
And we talk about it and talk about it and talk about it. And it's funny because obviously I was born with illness as well. And,
Yeah.
and as I got older, I developed autoimmune disease. And so health became a very big focus point for me, but focusing on food as well. Like I flipped my mom's kitchen upside down.
Yeah.
My mom was like, what's this
too,
coconut oil?
man.
What's this? What are you doing? What's going on here? Like, what are all these vitamins? Are you on drugs? My mom would think that my creatine was drugs. We're like, what do you do? What's that? So for me, it was a very big educational period for my family about,
Yes.
hey, look, I know what we think is normal is okay, but it actually got me sick.
Yeah.
And we need to actually work on this together because I don't want anybody else to get sick. And my family was riddled with a lot of illness, especially cancer.
Yeah.
You know, I lost 2 grandparents to cancer. I lost another grandparent because he's had heart failure. His heart was that way, he couldn't start his pacemaker. And when he had his heart attack, right? So that was a real long-term compound effect on what poor health does to the body, you know? Yeah. And we got this really bad mindset of they're old, it's normal for them to get sick. And I firmly believe that it's not.
No.
Right?
No.
So my mom's 61 this year.
Yeah.
My grandmother, God rest her soul, my mom's mom died at 69. So you're telling me in 8 years' time my mom's supposed to be dead because that's normal? No. I don't think so.
No
right?
way, no.
So now they're finally getting in the gym.
Yeah.
They're finally exercising with us. And my dad's like bouncing off the walls now.
Yeah.
Right. And I love it because for many years my dad was that guy that just wasn't exercising.
Yeah.
And he'd come home and he wasn't a pleasant person to be around because he was just stressed and tired. He's working just as much, but he's in a better mood because he's exercising 2 or 3 times a week, which I love. It means the whole house is just a much better place to be around, you know?
Yeah.
And with my son, all my family are around me, and I was very big. My son is not to eat poor food. He's not. And my wife is very much on board with it as well. She had an autoimmune disease, which made it very hard for her and I to conceive. We spent 2 years trying to conceive because I had health issues, she had health issues. So from a genetic standpoint, we both understood that my son was at a disadvantage. Yes. Right? So I was very adamant, like he's got to, not supplement, but he's got to make sure that if we can't get it from food, he's going to get it from a supplement. So we get him on an omega-3, which his body loves. Yeah. And everything around what he eats is very much whole food 90% of the time. Yeah. But it's funny, like when we're at a family event and all the kids have got ice cream, everyone looks at me and I go, can Arthur have some? And they when I say, yeah, of course you can. Like,
they're shocked.
They're like, I'm like, this much, not this much.
Yeah, one.
You can have this much.
Easter, 1 chocolate, not 5 chocolates.
Exactly. Yeah. So I give him some, and I'm a little bit weird about this, but I have to feed it to him. Yeah. Because I just simply don't trust that they're going to keep it to 1. Yeah. So I'm like, you know what? I got to control this where I can. Yeah. I'll feed it to him, and he'll eat it, and he'll look at me, and he's like, "Can I have?" So he already knows that this isn't normal for him, right?
Yes.
So he has it, and he enjoys it, and he goes and plays. But every other time, it's like, Dad, can I have steak? He wants steak.
Yeah.
I'll pick him up from daycare. We drive home. What do you want for dinner, Dad? I want steak. So I go past the butcher. He's got really good grass-fed meat. I put the steak on the barbecue. Yeah. And he's a boy. He loves fire. He loves... Yes. So when I put the barbecue on, he wants to watch the fire on the barbecue. So little stuff like that for me is like teaching him this is normal.
Yes.
You know, it's not normal to get KFC every day or Macca's every day or pizza every day. That's not normal, right? And unfortunately, I grew up in a household that was like that. Yeah. And it got me sick because my body just wasn't tolerating what was going in my system. So, you know, much to like literally what you said, it's really, really important that, you know, going back to the whole mindset thing around just go all in.
Yes.
I love that approach of going all in because going all in doesn't actually mean that we have to be perfect at it.
No.
Going all in just means that we need to commit to holding ourselves accountable to this 80% consistency, for example, right? Yeah. And to me, if people can just do more of that, not just in exercising or weight loss, but just in life. Yes. People's ability to achieve their own goals and live a bit more of a fulfilled life, how much better would it be? Oh, for sure. Right? I started a new little venture maybe 3 or 4 months ago. Scared the absolute crap out of me, right? Presenting in front of people, right? Putting myself in front of corporates and people who think they know a lot already, right? Mm. And I'm going in there and I'm talking to these people and I'm like, this is scary as. Yeah. But then I think to myself, just like you're running, when it gets like that suck period, when I'm not good, this is just a moment in time and it's going to pass. I'm going to get better. So, you know, I'm really like, everything you're saying, I'm just thinking about all the different situations I found myself in and how that just reigns true every single time. It's going to be hard at first. It's going to be quite uncomfortable at first, but you're going to get through it as long as you stay consistent with it all, you know?
For sure.
So, CrossFit, bodybuilding.
Oh, everything,
powerlifting, movement. Tell me what was the movement? Was that more like calisthenics?
I'll say besides Coach Cal, I'm sorry I keep mentioning his name, but one of the best teachers I've ever been around, I'll call him a teacher because that's the term he likes to use, was the Ido Portal.
Yeah, I've heard of
And
him.
and I did an internship in Thailand with him, and went to 2 movement camps, and I did the online training for like 2 or 3 years. And I mean, I couldn't say I was good at it because the practice is a very long practice, but honestly, it changed my life, and he was one of the best teachers. And I actually got into it because I would say that I'm an overtrainer. I'm a go-getter. I've got that type of personality. So like I overdid CrossFit, you know what I mean?
That's why you're a business owner.
Probably, yeah. So I overdid CrossFit. So I was like always tired. And then there was these very popular books at the time, stretching mobility, and I would stretch 2-3 hours a day, and like you just wouldn't do anything. It was just like it would help me.
It was
for the
momentary
session.
relief, and they come
That's
back.
it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I'd get me through the session, and then and in the sport of CrossFit, as much as it gets teased, it's you got to move well. Like you got to be very efficient.
Hard sport, man.
Very hard. You've got to move well. You got to be athletic. You got to have mobility, flexibility. You got to be strong.
There's a lot of different components to CrossFit.
I wasn't that, you know. I didn't have. I'm not a very graceful mover, you know. So I just found him because I was looking up on YouTube, trying to find how to like mobility, you know. And he had this squat routine thing he was doing, and I did the squat routine that he did like every day, and I took a video from the side, and I noticed my mobility changed. So I just
stuck with it.
Or I just emailed. I just looked at his page, emailed him, and at the time it was super expensive. I mean, like it was like 5 times the price of a normal coach, you know. And that resonated. I was like, okay, like if that must be legit, you know what I mean? And at the time, I think he's changed now, but at the time it was like you can't do any other training. You got to commit to 3 to 4 hours of training a day, and it was like nuts, you know. So I was like, I'm just gonna give this CrossFit thing a break.
I guess he actually did it.
Yeah, I did it.
Well, like full on 3-4 hours a day.
Yeah, I went all in. No. When I go all in, I go all in.
I love that. That's so good.
So I went all in. Yeah, I did. I went all in, and I did it. That's all I did. And man, it changed my life. Like, I mean, I couldn't even straighten. My wife makes a joke, like I couldn't straighten my hands above my head from how tight my shoulders and lats and biceps were. In like 12 weeks, I could do a full back bridge onto it was on the box, feet elevated, but I could do a back bridge. Like, so it changed my, it changed my life pretty quick. And once I got those results in that short time, but the commitment was big, obviously, like we said, 3-4 hours. And, I just kept going. It's just addictive, you know what I mean? And then my wife was ex-gymnast, and she challenged me like how fast I could get a handstand, and like, so anyway, I went through the movement practice, and
I love how she challenged you, thinking that you weren't going to get it done.
My wife's a very competitive person, so
that's good. It's good.
So, but if she does listen to this, I did beat her, and we had a challenge like who could hold the longest freestanding handstand, and there's not too many things I can beat her in, but I beat her in that.
Look, mate, I got a newfound respect for my wife. She's giving birth, and I don't care what I do on the gym floor. It doesn't trump that, bro.
It, man.
Mate, they're amazing women, especially when they become mothers, bro.
God gives them a special grace, because I don't think that men can handle what they handle.
No way. Absolutely amazing, bro. That's a living miracle right there. Honestly, it is. But talk to me a little bit about like the shift in your career from the CrossFit gym and everything like that.
Yep.
Obviously, I'm a really big fan of what you're doing. I love your page, and I've mentioned it to you before. I love what you're doing. I see your stuff all the time, and it really resonates with me. It hits home with me, a lot of the stuff that you talk about. I am a Catholic man as well, just like yourself. And one of the things that I love is the way in which you've really not shied away from what's true to you. Yeah. But also what's kind of how that interrelates with your relationship with your kids, relationship with your wife, how you look at the world, your training. Like, doesn't actually take away, it actually adds. So talk to me a little bit about that, because I find that quite interesting, because for many years I used to live life, and this is probably because of my own lack of understanding, there were 2 separate things, my faith and my business, or my faith and everything else outside of church. There were 2 separate things. It wasn't until later in life when I learned more and I was open to this kind of stuff and conversing with other men around this stuff, especially my dad, that I realized that they actually can work side by side, and they make you better at all of them. For sure. You know? So tell me a little bit about how you came to that realization, but what's kind of made you, or not made you, but what's kind of motivated you and inspired you to do the stuff you do now on your socials compared to what it was like before?
Look, 129 was the name. 129 comes from a Bible verse, so like 2 Corinthians 12:9. So like for me, by the time I was able to open my gym, 129 Health and Performance, it was already like big for me, and like most people who kind of, let's say, get into the faith. I mean, I was born Catholic. I'm a Makhalouf, and you know what I mean. So like, I was born Catholic.
Yeah, I love it. You're a Makhalouf.
Like,
Enough
I
said,
mean,
bro.
you know what I mean.
You have
So,
a beautiful family, mate. I know your family. You have a beautiful family.
yeah,
bro.
and I mean, if you're Lebanese, you know, like Saint Charbil Makhalouf, like it was part of our family. So I'm born Catholic, Maronite Catholic, and my family is quite religious already. And I mean, growing up, it's normal for us, like we don't take it as serious as we probably should. But I think most people kind of, when it becomes serious for them, their faith, they have that turning point where.
It stops becoming just a Sunday mass and it starts becoming
Yeah, and I feel like God gives you that grace. He talks to you in your heart, and by the time I opened the gym, it was I already had that exposure and experience, and with God, and it became the focal point of my life, and I think everything at this point, everything in my life, He's the foundation. My faith's the foundation of everything that I do. Everything flows from that, and whether it's fatherhood, whether it's business, all the interactions that I have with people. I mean, I think every decision that you make, every interaction that you have with someone, you're constantly being tested in some way, and you have a decision to make whether you are gonna do the right thing or not. And I think as much as it's can be these days like put out there or popularized in some way, I think still people still need to hear about the faith as much as they can, and as much as we can. And for the gym, if you want to talk about the gym in general, and what drew me and showed the connection, it's actually part of the reason why I opened the gym is one day when I was obsessed with training, and there was a time, like you mentioned, that like you feel like it's very vain, like training, it can be very vain if you look at looks and things like that, performance, become very self-absorbing, so it can steal, it can very easily steal. And I've seen it's happened to me, and I've seen clients happen to my clients, and it can steal away from your faith very easily. But if Christ is the truth, and He showed us the example of the greatest reward, which is to make it to heaven, and constantly in the Bible it talks about walking the narrow path and carrying your cross, self-restraint, discipline. That concept, that truth of making it to heaven, which is the ultimate reward, if that's the case, then everything in this life that is sub to that follows the same concept. That means if you're trying to excel in business, it's the same concept. You walk the narrow path, you sacrifice, discipline, self-restraint, commitment. So at the end, that's the temptation. Because of that, and these are worldly rewards, if Christ is not at the center, then you could be taken away. The devil can steer you away from the ultimate reward. So I think if you, for me, it became that I could use the vehicle of health and fitness as the physical vehicle that people could practice and this kind of concept while keeping Christ at the center. So we have a soul, which we know, we have a soul and a mind, but we still have a body, and God chose to give us a body. So we must look after the body that God gave us, so that our mind and our soul can be housed in this way. So it's like, for me, it's shifted from a self-absorbing kind of pursuit to something that I can honor my body for God. And I'm hoping that I can show people that you can have the two combined. And even the same thing with business, like I said, you have so many encounters. And I was in service stations at one time, and anyone that's ever been in the fuel game, in anything got to do with fuel and oil, knows that it's a very rough world out in that world.
We used to own service stations, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, so it's very tough, and you can see there's a lot of call it like backstabbing kind of.
Just call it for what it is, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of like snake oils salesmen and stuff like that. So you get put in positions all the time that you get to make a choice on which side you're on. And I think you can run your business while keeping Christ in the center. You can pursue a physical pursuit while keeping Christ in the center. If you are married and you decide, which is a very important sacrament, it's a sacrament in our faith, and it's a very important sacrament. And your job as a father, the main job you have, is to try and get your family to heaven. Like that's your main job. So everything should flow from that, and everything that we do should flow from that. And it's very hard as men and as fathers to find the balance of trying to provide and being part of the world while keeping your main purpose, which is like getting into heaven. It's hard, man.
While being present. Yeah, that's the battle that a lot of fathers. Ben and I talk about it all the time.
It's hard,
man. Being a father, making money, looking after our family from that perspective, but then being present.
Yeah.
Right, and actually being there and doing the fatherly stuff that we want to do,
and not allowing the stresses of the world to make you bitter and forget.
It's true, man.
It's not easy to pray when you're like worried about financial problems and your kids are in front of you. It's not easy to, but I think they're the tests that we have, and you can definitely have both. And I think you are better for it if you put Christ in the center, and you every single day you wake up in the morning and you offer that the tribulations and the wins and the losses of that day to him. I think in the long run, as tough as it can be, you will be thankful for it, because
it's true, man. It does get tough, but for me, like when it was at its toughest for me, what made it so much easier was knowing that all I can control is me.
For sure.
And if I give it to God, the rest is up to him.
Yeah.
And imagine knowing that you're giving something, like imagine you have your best mate that you know is always going to have your back. So if you say, brother, can you cover this for me? You know, so you've asked your brother Richard, bro, I need you to do this for me. And you know, with a shadow of a doubt,
100%,
he's going to do it for you and he's got your back. That's exactly how I picture Jesus for me.
Yes.
Right? So when I give it to him, I know that whatever comes my way outside of me, he's going to allow it. All I can control is how I react.
For sure.
Right? And so when I look at stuff like that, I go, all right, I've got the freedom to respond and do what I feel like doing. But then I'm quickly reminded that freedom is not something that we can just do whatever we feel like doing. It's actually, and this comes from Pope John Paul II, same Pope John Paul II. He defined freedom as doing what you ought to do versus doing what you want to do.
For sure.
Right? And so when I look at it from that perspective and I think about my gym, I think about the clients that I serve, think about my team that I serve. And I say I serve them not to put me beneath them or them above me, but that's what we are called to do.
For sure.
Right? We serve our community. And I love serving them because they give me so much fulfillment and so much happiness. Like I could have the worst day, but training them, they just turn my whole mood around, right? So for me, it's like doing what I ought to do, knowing that I need to do what I ought to do, and that's a responsibility at the end of the day. If I can just control that about me and God's got the rest.
Yeah.
I tend to get through my toughest periods of my life to date much easier.
Couldn't do it without him, for sure, man. And life is suffering. I mean, if Christ suffered himself, I mean, that's the ultimate example. So not sometimes, but like suffering and it comes, it's for our own, it's for us. It's a way for us to strengthen our faith. It's most situations are there, and God allows them for us to be better and to rely on him. And I mean, for sure, man. And it's like you said, our job is to serve others to the best of our ability. And you know, like in the industry, at the end of the day, they're people. Like it doesn't matter whether it's health and fitness or whether you're a plumber or whatever it is. Like
people first, yeah,
they're people. They're just people, and you can change. Like when you first start into in the industry, like say now, like I work with a lot of young guys who want to be professional athletes, and like in the reality of it, a lot of them are not going to make it, and they might say all of them are going to make it, but at the end of the day, as a coach, if you could give them the skills to handle the suffering that's going to come and the hardships that are going to come and change their life for the better, well, what else do you want? Just give them a six pack? Like, what's that going to do for them? Increase their VO2 max? Like, I understand that. I understand which. Okay, that's your job. All right, that's what they're hiring you for, and you can do that. But you have a relationship with that person too. Like, so most of the people that work with me know that I get very
You're invested.
I get fully invested. I'm a very passionate person, and if I decide to take you on, you'll see that you'll get me 100%.
I like that.
And that comes with that side of me as well, because I think it's an important part, and I think no matter what, the hardship's going to come, and if you can give them a bit of that grounding and you can try to offer that to them, then I think they can handle a lot more than more than if you just get them a six pack.
The greatest coach that I've ever had in my sporting life was my boxing coach.
Yeah.
He treated me like a son.
Yeah.
Right. And I always said, like, this guy's like my second dad
Yes.
because of how close we got outside of boxing.
Yeah.
Right? He's really unwell now. He's got dementia. So haven't really moved to Queensland. But I'll never forget when I had my first fight all the way through to when I had my last fight with him. And I had all my 12 fights with him. I won a couple of titles. He was my coach.
Yeah.
And when I tell you that the way he invested in me was like nothing short of just absolute care.
Yes.
He actually taught me how to be a better coach for my clients, because I was receiving care that I never got before from somebody outside of my family. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah,
And,
of course.
and advice and mentorship, and don't let your head grow too big. You're winning fights. Just little stuff like that my dad would tell me. But like, it's just my dad. But somebody else would sit there and say to me like, Anthony, you won a couple of fights. Don't get ahead of yourself.
Yeah.
Stay modest. Stay humble. Sorry. Keep training hard. You're getting better. You're gonna fight harder opponents. We've got to get you fitter and stronger. So you got to always keep working hard. Don't let your ego get the better of you, because you're going to get caught.
Yeah.
The only fight I lost was the one fight I didn't take his advice.
Yeah.
And I sat in the back and I was head down, embarrassed. Lost in front of all my family and friends. I was so embarrassed. And he goes, "You learn your lesson?" I said to him, I never used to call him by his name. I used to call him coach. I go, "Yeah, coach, I have."
Yes.
He goes, "All right, let's get to work." The next day, we're back in the gym training.
Yeah.
And he pulled me aside before we started. And he goes, "You have the ability to win whatever you want in life, not just boxing." So, but that comes with the temptation of letting your ego get really big, because everyone's going to be in your corner when you miss the winner, when you win everything. He said, you win, but everyone's going to tap you in the back, because when you lose, no one's going to be there for you. He said, so just keep yourself humble and just focus on the hard work that needs to happen, and whatever comes from that, comes from that. So that's literally all I tell myself now.
Yes.
All I can do is just work hard. Whatever comes from that, comes from that.
sure.
Right? So when it comes to my training, when it comes to the advice I give my clients, when it comes to me going all in on how I invest with my clients as well, they know they'll get all of me, and they'll get the best version of me. And all I want to do is see them become healthier, better people.
For sure, yeah.
So that can be simply better for their families. That's it. If the weight loss comes, great. If the fat loss comes, fantastic. If it doesn't, it'll get there. It's impossible for it to not happen.
Exactly.
If you're doing 80% of the work right. Do you get what I mean?
It has
But
to
if I
happen.
can make a father have better energy for his kids, if I can get a lady, her autoimmune disease symptoms resolved, and she's better for the things that are important to her, that's a huge win.
Of course.
And that's what I'm blessed to be able to do. So just like yourself, I'm like, this is so much more than just getting abs or losing a bit of weight on a scale. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. You can change people's lives forever. Like you can change their life forever. With even athletes. I mean, when do people like in any sport? It's like how long are you an athlete for? From the age of 20 to 30 or 35.
If you're lucky, man. If you're lucky.
If you're like and then what? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you're still young at 30. I mean, I hope so. I'm 35.
I know a lot of fighters. I know a lot of fighters who used to fight overseas in the Asian countries.
Yeah.
They were superstars.
Yes.
They come here, no one knew who they were.
Yeah,
and when they retired, the depression that they went through, because they didn't know how to live life, because they just realized that no one's actually here for me.
Well, you see in all, even you see in sports like rugby league and that, they say, they don't make enough money. But I mean, like, you finish at 35, if you knuckle down, it's what you learn along the way. I mean, the smartest ones are the ones that understand the concepts of what gave them success, and that's why you can use it in anything. That's why the beginner you can use the same mindset of a 12-week transformation in fat loss, and you could run a business using that same mindset. Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
true.
And it's the same thing with that. As an athlete, like, you got like 10, 15 years, you're going to compete if lucky. And if you don't learn the lessons, so that when you get to the age of 35, you can take those lessons and put it into any area of your life. Well, that's the main goal. And then, so you could use those. It doesn't matter. And if you're going to try and teach someone and coach someone, your job is just to like teach them the concepts, to teach them. Like, you specialize in the health and fitness industry, so you want to teach them the little nuts and bolts that they don't learn. That's what they're coming to you for. And then you're hoping that they stick to it, and along the journey they get the result they want, while changing their mindset so they can apply those same principles to the other areas of their life. And like you see it time and time again, if you can change one person's life, they can change their whole family's life.
It's true.
You know what I mean? Like, you change a father's life, and he all of a sudden he impacts his wife. And I mean, one of the guys now, we constantly speak about it, and he ran his first half marathon a couple of weeks ago, and he told me that like now his kids want to run with him, and his wife's gotten into training, and it's like, it's just you just don't realize how much you can impact so
when I
many
met my
people, you
wife,
know?
when she was like, when we first met all those years ago, she never exercised.
Yeah.
She was always a skinnier girl, so she didn't feel like she needed to. And I said, look, it's not so much about being skinny or being fat. It's actually about being healthy.
Yeah.
And health starts from the inside. So I would talk to about muscle and bone density and all those kinds of things that are really important for women, right? Got her in the gym with us and she started training and she fell in love with it.
Yeah.
Now, if she misses a session, she's like, I need to get to the gym tomorrow.
Yeah, of
right?
course.
So I said to her, I said, look, come in, bring my son here, put him in the creche.
Yeah.
And just do your exercising, right? And he sees mum training, he sees dad training. He wants to walk over to the barbells and the dumbbells and pick him up now. So like I'm happy that he's in an environment, one, where he's completely safe.
Yes.
Here with this community that I've built. But two, it's like this is the example of what it means to be healthy.
Yes.
Right. And it starts from that age.
Yeah.
Right. Being exposed to that at that age.
Sure, yeah.
And this is why I can admire what you do with your son, for example, because it's not so much about trying to flex that my son can do these cool things. It's not about that, right? And I know it's not about that because I see straight through what you see on social media. I know I can see the deeper, right? It's because you're trying to make your son better than you were.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you get what I mean? And for me, nothing is more important. Sure. And the thing with parents, mother or father, we want to see our kids succeed, but not only succeed, surpass us.
Yes.
Right? And we're their biggest cheerleaders on the way to them surpassing us.
Yes.
Right? And I can't wait for my son to take what I've given him, right? And then 10 times it, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Look, there's one concept that I always think about, and I think like, look, people think that I'm going to try and make my son an athlete. I'm not going to try. It's just that being physical for a child is just fun for them. So outside of that, you only take so much from your parents. You take a lot, but you take only so much. So if you can only take, like, you're not exactly like your mum and dad. You're not like, you take bits of them, but not exactly, right? So if you take 30-40% from your parents, well, if you know nothing and you have no understanding of how to eat healthy, and your son's going to take 30% of you knowing nothing, well, then he gets nothing. Does that make sense? So like, if I can just instill certain habits in him now, there's going to come a time in his life when he's going to want to explore. So he's going to test the boundaries. When he tests the boundaries, at least he has the fundamental understanding of whatever I'm trying to teach him, whether it's in his faith, whether it's in how to eat, whether it's in being physical and active outside, because they're not going to take it all. He's not going to be me. And I don't want him to be me. You know what I mean? But he might decide to be in a 9-to-5 job. I don't know. Like, whatever he wants to do, he can do whatever he wants. It doesn't bother me at all. It doesn't have to be an athlete. But if I can just give him the tools that I have, whatever knowledge I've got, at least I can try to pass on as much as I can to him, and then let him shape his own life, you know?
Yeah.
So a lot of these parents who are willingly choosing not to understand the basic concepts of health and being physical or fitness in general, well, they're just hurting their family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you could say that for any topic. That's why it's such a big responsibility. And look, us as parents, including my parents and us as well as parents, like, we're doing it for the first time. We're not perfect, and we're not going to get it right the first time. So we're going to make mistakes. But at least with what we do know, let's try and give as much as we can to our kids. And I find that a lot of the parents, and a big thing I find is like, people think that, oh, you're going to get married. Like, when you're 20 years old and you look at someone getting married when they're 30, 35, you think, oh, they're so old. You know what I mean? When you look at them, like, they're so old, right? They're like in a different generation. Then you get married when you're 30, 35 and you realize, like, I'm the same person I was when I was 25. Like, what's going on here?
Nothing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, you know, I know nothing, you know? So then you realize, so these days, I think a lot of parents are still trying to find themselves on the journey, which is good, normal as well, and we've got to accept that, you know what I mean? But if we can change the mindset of a lot of us parents, there's certain things that we know that are important, or which I think are important. And for me, there's those pillars like faith, family, fitness. So like, if those three things, or health, faith, family, health, I just say fitness because it's
the 3 F's,
the 3 F's, so it sounds good for the social media, but call it health, right? Which is what it is. Those three pillars, to me, and in that order, faith, family, health, or fitness, if we can give as much information as we can so that we can give them the tools so that they can live the best life possible for themselves.
Yeah.
And trying to teach them those concepts that we speak about. So if he decides to go and do something in his own industry that he wants to do, well, he at least understand the concepts of what it takes to learn a skill, what it takes to have the beginner's mindset, to suck at something and get better at it. And that's our job as parents, and in my opinion. And I think that's lacking a little bit now. I think people are still so, like I said, because they're finding themselves, they're still very self-absorbed, and they're not understanding that everything they're doing now is going to impact the child and the people around them. And I hope that, because this industry has become very transactional now, and it's just like 12-week transformation, get a six-pack, all these fitness influencers online now, that's just like very transactional, not knowing the impact and the responsibility we have as coaches. So I hope that we can, which you're doing a great job of, and I hope that more people speak out about the things that are more important, which is those faith, family, fitness, like connections with people, your responsibility, and how you can impact the world, and being the best version of yourself, and carrying your cross and shining your light to the world. Like that's what it's about. So
yeah, I love that. Well, my dad told me from a very young age, he said to me, he's always used to have a go at me whenever I would act up, right?
Yes.
But like, he'd really have a go at me. I'm like, Dad, all right, I'll get up, I made a mistake. He goes, no, you don't understand.
Yeah.
So what do you mean? He goes, you're a leader. Because you're a natural born leader. Yeah. And I'm like, what do you mean? He said, you have a responsibility. He said, everything you do, your younger brother sees you, people around you see you. For sure. You can't just do whatever you feel like. This is what you have to be like. Yeah. And I used to get annoyed about it. Now, it's like the biggest driving force in me to be the best version of myself. Not to be this pretty clean-cut version on Instagram, no. Yeah. The best version of myself, flaws and all. Yes. Right? So people can say that I'm still human, I'm going to make mistakes. Yeah, but I'm still trying to be the best version of myself. Yeah. Simply, I guess it's not for me anymore. Yeah. And it hasn't been for me for probably the last 2 years, to be really honest. And when my son was born, it's all for him. He's actually, people think that I was already there prior to him being born. Yeah. He's actually made me better since he was born. Right? Yeah. My change, and I was very different before my son was born. I used to drink. I used to, I'd have the odd cigarette here and there. Very against what we talk about, right? Yeah. My son was born, something in me snapped, and I said, I can't fake it anymore. Yeah. I need to be all in. Yes. Because if I'm not all in, he's going to see that. Yeah. And he's going to think it's normal. And over my dead body, he's going to get the bad habits from me. Yes. Right? And so for me, it's like I want him to see me not being perfect, but see me trying to be the best version of myself. Yeah. Because then at least that might encourage him to try and be the best version of himself, And the beautiful thing about our community, and what I love now, I'm seeing more of it in the fitness industry, is the connections. Yes. Community. Yes. Bringing family together. One thing I admire so much about what CrossFit has done in the health and fitness community is build community. Oh, they're the best at it, man. People of all walks of life come in and just enjoy being healthier, but enjoy being around people that lift them up. Yeah. Through exercising. Yeah. Because we've come to realize now, through all the extra research, what exercising does for mental health. Yes. Not so much just the physical side of things, but what it does for your mental health and your mindset, which can have a huge impact on me as a father, on my wife and on my kids, or a mother on her husband and her family, or on a grandparent, whatever it might be. And, you mentioned your mum being your greatest transformation. Yeah. My mum's actually mine. And I don't tell many people about it, but arthritis pain riddled with it, right? Fixed her inflammation, got her exercising. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking about my grandmother, her mum. 69, she died. My mum's 61 this year. I don't want to lose my mum in 8 years' time. You know what I mean? Especially when it can be avoidable. Yeah. Right? So I'm watching her do her thing, and she hates the gym. Oh, the look she gives me when she walks in the gym. She's just like, why am I here? I said, Mum, just get started. You'll feel better after. Yeah. And then the skip and a step when she walks out and she's happy. Yeah. And I've always wanted my mum just to be happy. My mum and dad, I want to look after them and make them just relax, enjoy life. You've done your job for us. Thank you. Yeah. So to see them coming in, do their thing, feel better for it. I know what they're doing for their longevity now and their quality of life. I've got a son, my brother's wife give birth in, 2-3 weeks. They're going to have a second grandchild, and just to see what I can give back to my parents comes back all the way to the things my dad used to tell me when I was a teenager growing up. Yeah. And it's like, okay, now I'm living it, and now I get what you used to tell me. Do you get what I mean? Yeah, of course. It only hits home harder for me when I became a dad. Yeah, of course. All the things my dad told me, I'm like, fuck, he was right. Oh, that's what he meant. Yeah, I mean, and then you appreciate them, all right? You appreciate them so much more, right? And I looked at my dad. I'm like, said to him once, okay, I get it. all I said to him was once he walked in the house, I go, Dad, you know what? I get it.
Yeah.
And he just knew exactly what I meant. And even my mum, I'm like, Mum, I understand now why you had sleepless nights. I get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so for me, it's fitness is such a big passion for me.
Yeah.
Even more now because of all the research that we know and everything about longevity and health and muscle and bone density and, you know, chronic inflammation and disease prevention, all that fancy stuff that we talk about. We have control over so much of that.
Yeah.
Which is, to me, doesn't scare me. It actually excites me. Because imagine having a better life by simply keeping it simple.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It sounds silly, but like if we just kept it simple, we would be in better shape.
Yeah.
Get up, walk, eat well, sleep well, drink your water, and minimize the processed foods. You have a much better life than 80% of the population.
For sure. Like,
you know?
Yeah. Well, I was watching a video the other day and Dr. Rhonda Patrick mentioned like there was a study for someone over 50 years old that like if they to consume 6+ vegetables or fruits a day, they could add 14 years to their life.
Wow.
And like, I don't know the study myself, but that's what she said. And I thought like to myself, just imagine asking that person when they were like just about to die, is like, would you go back? And the people that they started eating healthy at the age of 50 and it prolonged their life by 14 years. So they were meant to die at 70. So I think she said 78 or 79. They would live to like 93 or 94.
Wow.
Just imagine asking that person at 79, would you go back and just have 6 vegetables or fruits a day and to prolong your life by 14 years? Every single one of them will do it. You know what I mean? I think just with us, because you said keep it simple, because life is so chaotic and because of the stresses and the temptations of the world today, people just don't, the simple things are just not appealing and people just aren't willing to do them, you know what I mean? But
this is why like peptides became such a big thing, right? Or are a big thing because like retatrutide, for example, lose the weight without trying. It's like, come on, bro.
I know.
And on that, like personally speaking, there were that many people that I've had arguments with about it. I'm not against peptides. I use peptides. I've used them for a long time, right?
Yes.
I've used them for my autoimmune disease. I use BPC for the last 5-6 years.
Yes.
And I'll always be a fan of that stuff.
Yeah.
People that use that stuff, I'm not against it.
Yes.
But the question I asked them is,
of course, the philosophy.
all I asked them is why?
Yeah.
Tell me why you're using it. And they look at me like, okay, you're looking at it because it's an easy way out.
Yeah.
It's you know, for you, it's a quicker way to get to the weight loss goal without the effort.
Yes.
Right? Do you think eating less or not eating at all is actually beneficial to you?
Yeah.
Where's your weight loss actually coming from? Is it coming from fat loss or is it coming from muscle loss?
Yeah.
Right? And they look at me and the face just goes red 9 times out of 10. And I say to them, look, I'm not trying to embarrass you, but I just want to know why you're doing it. Because if you haven't done the fundamentals correctly, what's your peptide going to do? And I know ladies who have done it, haven't eaten for like days and have put on weight. And they go, I was supposed to be losing weight. I said, you're not a robot though.
Yeah.
You know? I said, so like you not eating is not the answer. So get off the peptides. Go back to doing the fundamentals right that actually work. Stick to that for a good 12 weeks or even 6 months. Watch the change in you.
Yeah.
It's you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think for sure. And I agree with you. I just look. There's a lot of things out there. They're a tool, and they should be used. But I think people these days, how readily available it is, and the amount of like the doctors, these so-called doctors these days are just prescribing things like that. I'm not talking about GPs. I'm talking about the doctors that are prescribing the TRT and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's like an atomic bomb given to the public. It's like machine guns given to the public. Like these are such powerful tools. They can change your genes, your DNA. Because they're so powerful, and I think they're just getting a little bit overused. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't be used in certain cases, but like you said, I think people need to ask themselves why they're doing it, and they need to ask themselves what their long-term. I think a lot of, especially in our community, if a lot of men ask themselves deeply, properly, and they thought about it and what their main goal in life was, especially if you're a father, I think most men, they'll say it's their kids, they'll say that it's their family, their faith. So because if that's the main purpose and main goal in your life, then being healthy and looking after your health, again, to go back to it, how do we like intertwine them, should be related to that. And if it is, then taking that shortcut isn't needed. You know what I mean?
Right,
because you like, unless you're a bodybuilder who wants to like, and then people say like these days, you don't know what it's like and you have low testosterone, but I've heard all the arguments. I get it. Trust me. I've been in the industry for a long time, but just ask yourself why you're doing it, like you said. And for most people, I think if they thought about it hard enough, unless you had aspirations of doing something with it, I think they would just they would choose otherwise.
Can I tell you, in regards to bodybuilding, I've prepped my brother for he's done 5 shows, right?
Yeah.
And the whole argument of you don't understand what it's like when you're that lean and your test is low and your energy is low. My brother, the way we prepped him, because he was a natural athlete, he was fine.
Yeah.
He's on the comp day, it was still at 2,400 calories.
Yeah.
And other people that were there were having like 1,000, 1,200 calories, and they were like, they were dying.
Yeah.
My brother was pumped, he was lean, he was jacked, he was good. People thought he was on gear and he was in a natural comp. He even got drug tested in one of them.
Yeah.
Right? And then asked me, like, what are you doing? I said, you need to understand something. Being ultra low in your calories is not the answer to getting super lean.
Yeah.
Even that lean, even stage lean.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? The amount of refeeds that I did for him in that period of time kept him lean, but kept him muscle, kept his hormones, his hormone health well. This is why people get it very wrong, right? Going super lean and getting to that, like that 2-3%, 4-5%.
Oh, of course, it's going to affect you.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Right? But it depends on how long they're trying to keep that for.
Well, and even not even that. It's just like, even if it does cause you testosterone, at least you know why. It's like,
it's a normal response to what you're doing.
Yeah, like there's been times I've done blood work and I've gone through a very stressful time, and a lot of guys like you go through different times in your life, and if you go to do a blood test and your testosterone is low, before you jump the gun and decide to medicate yourself,
ask why. Yeah,
why is it happening? You know what I mean? Like if you know why and there's a reason to it, then it's okay. It's like, okay. I mean, that's the beauty of the way that God made the body. It's like things have reactions and things happen. And if you live a certain life and you act a certain way, you make a certain decision, they have a consequence. And it's like, I think that's the beauty of it. I think the problem is that we're trying to mask our lifestyle habits by taking something to master. Like, forget about it. Honestly, I don't want to get into the topic of what's right and wrong taking TRT. It's not nothing to do with it or peptides. It's just that as long as you know that you're not trying to mask your lifestyle habits.
That's exactly what I say.
You know, and if you've spent your life, for example, like maybe you took a lot of drugs and you partied a lot and you didn't sleep properly and you drank alcohol and all that kind of stuff, and now you're 35, 40 years old and you've got low test.
And you're paying the consequence for it,
but you're paying the consequence. And I think that's kind of like, unless it's actually you haven't like a real mental issue and it's really affecting your health. I mean, like as in some way that you're gonna hurt yourself and that. I think there's something beautiful about it. It's like, okay, I did those things and that's the consequence for it.
But you got through it. You're still here.
You're here now.
Put on some muscle. Watch your test get up.
Well, yeah, and just start like look after your health. It's like, okay, now that's it. That's the wake up call. That's my wake up call. I've driven myself into the hole. I'm at rock bottom. This is where I am. Now it's time to fix myself.
And you can rebuild your foundation.
Yeah, well, how many times have people, we used to hear back in the day, like sometimes you need to get to rock bottom so that you can realize there's change.
Some of the best success stories that we've ever heard in our time is when men and women were at rock bottom and they build themselves back up.
What do we do when you avoid that? Oh, you get to rock bottom, but then you just don't, you get something else to mask it, and then you're not really getting out of it. You're just, all you're doing is just taking something and you got the same mentality. Now we're in trouble.
Well, I always tell people as well, when it comes to supplementation, Anthony, what supplements should I be taking?
Yeah.
I said, what are you doing to lifestyle first? They go, I'm like, no, you need to understand that.
Of course.
I want the supplements that you spend money on to work for you. But you can never out-supplement a poor lifestyle.
No way, no chance.
Right? You can never out-peptide a poor lifestyle. So if you want to invest your money in that stuff, by all means, go and do it.
Yeah, of course.
But let's make sure it actually works for you.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah,
let's make sure that where you're investing your money, you're actually seeing a return on that. Let's build the foundation so you can build up from that.
Yeah.
You know, nothing that was built that was great was ever built on a rocky foundation.
For sure.
You know, whether it be health or business or our faith, whatever it might be.
Everything, yeah,
right?
for sure.
So, yeah, look, I truly believe that, you know, everything that we're speaking about today, it kind of all centers back to what you started at the start, going all in.
Oh, yeah, for sure, yeah.
It all comes back to that, right? The Justin Makhalouf way is if you're going to do it, go all in.
Well,
even if you can't walk for 3 days or 4 days after a backyard marathon or whatever you call it.
Backyard ultra or 10 weeks, that's the goal. So
nice, very nice. Well, I'm excited to see your performance, man.
Thank you.
Justin, look, I want to thank you so much for your time today. I hope the listeners have enjoyed this conversation as much as I have.
Thank you.
Where can everyone find you if they want to reach out to you or seek advice from you or coaching?
On social media, Instagram, just Justin Makhalouf or Coach Mac. That's it. Yeah, you can find me there.
Beautiful. Lovely. So there you hear it. Instagram. Thanks, guys, for tuning in.
Thank you.
Don't forget, like and subscribe to us on YouTube and Spotify. Thanks very much.